night's going to be difficult. The most obvious problem that the Bears have is their head coach in Matt Eberflus. Does he just seem way in over his head?
The messaging has been inconsistent and it has not been strong. And, if you want to sit there and say, he had an HR issue with Alan Williams and there's only so much legally he can say, okay, I'll give you that. But, Chase Claypool is the perfect villain here. Chase Claypool has not done anything as a member of the Chicago Bears. I don't know a single Bears fan who has any warm feelings for Chase Claypool. Here's a guy who has been shown on film, and anybody with a social media account has seen the supercut of Chase not trying. I think the fan base, I think Eberflus would gain a lot of street cred with the fan base if he came out and said, listen, this guy wasn't living up to what we wanted. This is unacceptable. He's never going to play here again. Now we're going to try and trade him, and I realize what I'm saying right now may hurt his trade value. But you know what? I need to be clear with the fan base, with my team, with ownership, that I've got standards, and if you don't meet my standards, start packing. I don't know why he doesn't say that. I think that would benefit him greatly. I think it would give some clarity to the situation, even though we all know really what's going on. But to hear the guy who's the spokesman for your team say it out loud is valuable. And I just don't know why he hasn't been more authoritative about it. It's a layup. It is the best thing he could do for himself right now, and they haven't done it.
You can't talk about Eberflus on the hot seat within also not mentioning that the Bears have never fired anyone in season, fired a head coach in season. Right. Does Kevin Warren make this more of a cutthroat organization?
Probably doesn't make them less of one. With Ted Phillips and George McCaskey, I tell people all the time that, if you meet George, you would want George living next door to you. You would want George leaning over the fence and asking if he can help you, or asking, if he can give you some of the tomatoes they have from their harvest. Like, he is that sort of guy. But bringing in somebody who is a businessman, who has been elsewhere, which Ted Phillips had never been. Of course, it makes him more cutthroat. Now, he's got to worry about building a stadium. He's got to worry about doing all these other things that have nothing to do with putting out fires at this place. And I'm sure the Bears would prefer that that's where he spent his energy. I don't know whether now that he's here, they could fire somebody midseason in a way that they never have before. But, I'll say this. I mean, if you can fire midseason, to do what? Like, you have an offensive coordinator who just had one good game. You have a defensive coordinator who isn't here anymore. And you have a special teams coach who, sure, I guess he could run things, but to what end? Where does that get you? I think that, if they're going to throw somebody in the volcano, I think it's going to be Chase Claypool. And I think that's probably going to be sooner rather than later.